What is up, everyone? Super excited to be recording this video. It is one that I think is going to help a lot of people out. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry, aka Watch Me Amazon, and I wanted to make this video showing you how to get your Amazon account ungated in virtually any restricted category, subcategory, or brand on Amazon.com. And I hope that by showing you the same ungating techniques that I use in my own business, that you could unlock a much wider range of products to make money with selling on Amazon. So the first thing you guys need to do to get your account ungated in as many different restricted categories as possible is to download my secret list of Amazon ASINs. In the description section of this video, I am going to post a link to about 60 different Amazon listings from all different categories and brands, which I have personally used to get my own account automatically ungated. No invoices, no letters from the brand, just automatic category approval when you list these specific ASINs. The link is down below. Click it, get the list, and just start adding these products one by one into your Seller Central account. Now, this is not going to work for everyone, but for a lot of you, it's going to be just like magic, and you are going to have a lot more categories and brands with which to work. So click the link below, get the list, and then when you've downloaded it and tried it, let me know in the comments which worked for you and which didn't, so we can keep track of just how well and how much success everyone is having with this. So moving along, obviously, this Amazon hack is not going to work for every single thing out there. And if you're interested in doing a deep dive into some of the other strategies that I use to get ungated pretty much everywhere, keep watching this video and let's get into it. My goal is to make this the best Amazon ungating video anywhere on the net. So first off, if you're extremely new to selling on Amazon, let me just quickly explain the whole concept behind what ungating actually is and why it is a super important aspect of building a successful business on Amazon. So when you first start selling and listing products on Amazon, you will notice that there are some products that anyone can sell, and then there are some products or brands or whole entire categories and subcategories that are restricted unless you get special approval from Amazon to sell in these categories or brands. And the reason why Amazon is basically doing this is to protect its customers from counterfeit goods, to make sure people can basically buy stuff with confidence, and to limit the amount of new non-professional sellers popping up on certain listings. And for people who are starting out and who are looking to build big Amazon businesses, it is also often very important to get approval to sell in these categories. The first reason why it's so important is mainly if a category is gated, that typically means less sellers and less competition. And second, if you want to sell things like clothing, toys, beauty products, supplements, sports products, groceries, you're going to need to get approval for those categories to make any real money on Amazon. Also, if you want to sell the big brand names, Apple, Sony, Samsung, Dell, Star Wars, Hasbro, Crest, all that kind of stuff, you're going to need to get approved as well. So how do you get that approval? Well, in most cases, Amazon is simply going to ask you for invoices from your suppliers. And there are a few things that you need to know about that, but the most important thing is who your supplier is matters. Amazon basically wants to make sure that there is no question that you are selling real, authentic products. So for the most part, they want these invoices coming from, either the brand directly or from large, verifiable national distributors. Closeout sites won't work. Retail receipts typically won't work. Liquidation sites, garage sales, Alibaba, all those kind of sources will not really help in getting your account ungated. What will help you is invoices from distributors that Amazon can verify. So what do I mean by that? For starters, here is what your invoices need to have on them at minimum. Number one, your supplier should have a decent, legit looking website that Amazon can go to confirm that your source is the real deal. Number two, on your invoice, there should be your supplier's contact info, their address, their phone number, their website, and all that information on the invoice should match exactly what they have on their website. If it doesn't, that could be a problem. And number three, the invoice has to have all of your contact details exactly as they appear on your Amazon account. So your name, business name, address, phone number, all that stuff needs to match up exactly to what Amazon has on file for your selling account. And lastly, number four, the products and brands that you are trying to list should appear clearly and concisely on the invoice. If they have UPCs next to them, that's even better. So when I have these kind of invoices, let me tell you guys what I typically try to do when getting approved. I take one of these invoices that meets all the criteria I just mentioned, and I highlight all the pertinent information on them. My details, their website, my account number, their phone number. If I'm trying to get approved for a specific product, I highlight that product on the invoice. I will write the corresponding ASIN of that product next to it on the invoice and highlight that too. Basically, anything that they need to see, I make it very easy for them. I highlight everything and I send it to them in the approval process. And then what I do is there is like a little comment section where you can write a note to Amazon when you're getting approved. So I write a little note to them. And most of the time it's pretty simple, but it goes something like this. I will say, "Dear Amazon, attached is an invoice for blank. Please know that I buy this product directly from XYZ distribution. XYZ is one of the leading distributors of blank in the country. And more importantly, they're an authorized supplier of blank products." Then I say, I have highlighted the item on the invoice, as well as all the other details like the UPC, the ASIN, etc. Please feel free to call the supplier to verify any and all of my information. And then what I'll typically do is I will put a link in that message to the company's website. I'll probably link it to their contact page, which will have all of their details and their address exactly as it appears on the invoice. I'll put their phone number. I'll also tell them, my account number with them is Watch Me Amazon Inc., account number, 1234. And then I'll say, if you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you. Have a nice day. And it's as simple as that, guys, if all your information checks out. Don't worry about them actually contacting the supplier, because in my experience, it does not happen 99 out of 100 times. Now what I want to do is give you guys a few extra tips that I think will help guide you in the right direction when trying to get your Amazon account ungated. So the first bit of advice that I want to tell you is never, ever ever edit, Photoshop, or forge documents to send to Amazon. Their technology is pretty no joke, and if they find out, that will 100% be the end of your Amazon selling account. So, just don't do it. It's simply not worth it. Another tip is, and this is a big one, a lot of people message me and tell me that not only is Amazon asking them for an invoice, but they're also asking them for a letter from the brand authorizing them to sell their products. Now, letters from brands authorizing you to sell their stuff are usually few and far between, and chances are you're not going to be able to get those, so a lot of people get discouraged. They say, I have the invoice, but I'm never gonna get, Dell Computers giving me a letter letting me sell their products on Amazon. So the pointer I wanna give you guys is, when you see that, when you see the checkbox that is asking for an invoice and a letter, I want to let you guys know they are asking for either or. They are not asking for the invoice and the letter. They are asking for either one. So upload your invoice, write them your note, make sure everything else is kosher and matches up, and most of the time, you guys should be good to go. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is getting ungated not in brands, but in specific categories. So unlike when you're applying for a brand where most of the time you just need invoices, there are some categories where Amazon is going to make you jump through hoops before you get your account approved. So, for example, when I apply to the beauty category or to the health category, doesn't matter, they have a subcategory called topicals. Topicals is basically defined as anything that you would, put on your face, your hands, your skin, your hair. So anything like shampoo, lotions, moisturizers, creams, to sell any of that kind of stuff, you need to get approved in topicals. And to do that, they require more than an invoice. For this, they require you to get a certificate of analysis. And what that basically is, it's like a document issued by a lab for, any specific product. And it's basically a quality control type of thing, confirming that the product is safe to use and, meets safety standards or whatever. But most of the time, you can just ask your supplier for one of these, but where you really have to start jumping through hoops is when your supplier doesn't have access to them. If you buy from a brand direct, it's much easier, and a lot of suppliers often do have these COAs, but sometimes they don't, and that's when you kind of have to go on a wild goose chase, just, trying to track one of these things down. So I wanted to give you some tips in that regard. So if you're trying to get approved for a topical using a specific product and your supplier doesn't have the CPC or the COA rather, I have often been very successful at tracking them down online through Google. For a lot of popular products, they are out there. It just requires a little bit of digging. And if you're still out of luck and you can't find one online, you can just ask your suppliers if they have any COAs for any product. And if they do, just place a small order for that product and use that invoice and that COA to work your way into the category. Also remember, dealing with Amazon is a pain in the ass sometimes, big time. Sometimes I have COAs from my suppliers and they still won't accept them because it's missing a certain line or a signature or, some other stupid crap. But again, no big deal. It's part of the business. Just do some digging. They'll usually tell you what the certificate is missing, and then just try to find another product with another COA and use it to get approved. But The point is, use all resources available to you. Hit up different suppliers, all your suppliers. Be creative. Do some detective work on Google, and you should be able to make it happen if you're tenacious. Now, same thing, goes when applying for the toy category, for instance. They ask you for something called a children's product certificate. And just to give you an idea of how annoying Amazon can be with these things, when I was applying in the toy category, they wanted one of these certificates, and I was able to get one directly from Hasbro. And when I sent it to Amazon, they didn't accept it. I think what they told me was the lab that tested it wasn't on their approved list or something like that. But this is Hasbro, one of the largest toy companies in the world, and they're not accepting a certificate from them? It's ridiculous. But all these little stupid things are what comes with the territory of being an Amazon seller. The whole business is really all about just dealing with and figuring out all of these tiny little micro issues. So same rule applies in toys when looking for a CPC or a children's product certificate. If at first you don't succeed, keep trying, stay persistent, hit up your different toy suppliers because they probably do have CPCs for all products. And if your first attempt is rejected, just try a different brand, a different product, a different CPC, and I'm pretty confident that should do the trick. There's also a workaround that I can give you guys specifically for toys. And what that is for any toy that is intended for kids ages 13 and up, Amazon doesn't ask you for a CPC. Instead, what they ask for are pictures of the packaging of the physical product. So what you can do is, if you're having trouble, you can go through your supplier's whole catalog, find a toy that says, ages 13 and up on the packaging, make sure the toy is gated and that you can use it to get approved for the category, and then just get a small test order of that product. You have the invoice, you take pictures of the product, and you could instead use that instead of having to come up with a CPC. And lastly, guys, when all else fails, or if you are just very impatient and you need to get approved in something right away, there are companies out there that are ungating services. And what that means is, for a fee, they will basically help you get ungated. And, I'm not really opposed to using them. I've used them in the past, but just be sure that if you use an ungating company, that they're not just, giving you a fake invoice to send to Amazon, because that is another surefire way to get your Amazon account suspended. I'm actually in the process of vetting a few of these ungating companies that I've used before, and if and when I feel comfortable enough to recommend one of those companies to you guys, then I will definitely come back here and tell you guys or post about it on Instagram. This is going to be the light at the end of the tunnel for most of you new sellers out there. And what that is auto approvals. So one of the simplest, easiest, most surefire ways of getting your account approved for tons of big brands and categories is just to simply be a great Amazon seller and have some patience. Patience, guys. That is the answer. And what I mean by that is, if you're a brand new seller and you start applying for some of these brands and categories, 99% of the time, they are going to make you go, through that whole approval process like we just discussed. But if you have been selling for a little while, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, whatever it is, and you have decent sales, good metrics, very little order defect rate, if you have good feedback ratings, if you're basically doing your job and being a good seller on the platform, Amazon is going to begin auto approving your account instead of making you go through the whole application process. And this is especially useful to you guys out there doing online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. I know sometimes you guys don't have access to the invoices from big brand names, but you can still source those kind of products. But auto approval is a good strategy for anyone really. If you're brand new, instead of struggling to get approved in every big brand under the sun right away, give it some time, build up your account, build up your sales. Believe it or not, there is a lot of stuff to sell before you get Ungated. So just, build up your account, do some sales, get some feedback, build up your selling reputation, and then I am extremely confident that when you press that request approval button 5-6 months from now, chances are they are just going to give it to you. All right, guys, so as promised, it is time for me to deliver the goods. So before I share this little Amazon hack, I want you guys to fully understand why it is that I am about to share this with so many people. You see, I have always been the kind of person that likes to see other people win. There are a ton of haters out there, a lot of schemers, a lot of negative, small-minded people. But myself, I have honestly always wanted to see other people do good. My friends, my family, people that follow me, we can all win. If you do good, your success, it doesn't come at my expense. And believe me, e-commerce and Amazon, in general, it's just so huge. It's such a big market, and it's only getting so much bigger. Every single person who watches this video could become $1 million seller, and I promise you, it would not affect me in the least. And I think quite the contrary, actually. If I genuinely help and give more value, the more people I help, the more value I provide, I think at the end of the day, I am going to make more money for myself. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. And now that that's said, here's what I am going to share with you guys. So down below in the description section of this video, I am going to post a link. In that link, you put in your email address, and I am going to send you a list of about 30 different Amazon ASINs. These ASINs are all going to be linked to products in either different categories or subcategories, or to different big brands that most people need approval to sell. Now, all of these products that I'm going to send you are ones that I have tried over the last year personally to make sure they work. And what I want you to do is you are going to take that list that I send you. You are going to log into your Amazon selling account, go to the inventory tab on the top left and press the add a product button. Then copy and paste each and every single product from that list into the list new item window and press enter or search or whatever the button is. If the result comes up and it says listing limitations, simply press that and the request approval button should pop up. When it does, go ahead and press request approval. Don't worry whether or not you have any invoices, just press request approval anyway. And if Amazon deems you worthy enough, and I hope they do, you will get a message saying your selling application has been approved. The words we all want to hear, right? So, that part is self-explanatory. If you get that message, they approved you. Congratulations, you now hopefully have access to a whole new category or a whole new brand that you can use to make money with on Amazon. If when you paste the ASIN into the search bar, if instead of the listing limitations notice popping up, if you see just a sell yours button straight away, then that means you don't have to apply and your account was already previously approved for that category or brand. And lastly, if you see the request approval button and when you press it, if it doesn't say you have been approved, if it instead, happens to ask you for an invoice, and if Amazon wants you to go through the whole approval process, then for whatever reason, Amazon is not auto-approving your account today. So if that happens, my apologies. I tried to hook you up. My best advice now is keep selling, keep building, come back to that list every 2 or 3 months and try to relist those items. But for the vast majority of you guys, I am very confident that all of these products and all of these categories and all of these subcategories, I'm confident they're gonna work. And I hope it does, and I hope it opens up a whole new world of sourcing and money-making opportunities on Amazon for you. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it answered a lot of your ungating questions. I hope I was able to provide a lot of useful information, as I always try to do. Also, let me know, guys, in the comment section, which one of these products worked for you, which ones didn't work for you, because I am super, super curious to see how many of you got ungated with this list. And lastly, I just want to ask you guys for one small favor. If you got some value from this video, feel free to share it, post it on Facebook, share the email link with your fellow sellers, and just be sure to tag me in it. Smash, smash, smash the like button on this video, subscribe to this channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video, which I'm telling you right now is gonna be a killer, killer video. And for more daily behind the scenes wholesale content, be sure you are following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Watch Me Amazon. Peace.